Hi, this is Gro, our CMSC425 final game project. It's by me, Chijioke Okonkwo, and Daniel Lins, with some music credit by Lawn Reality, who is on Newgrounds. So this is a simulation game. It is a little bit like SimCity, like in that things grow, hence the title. So I'll start a new game so it'll be easier to explain. It's loading a little. So here we have a giant grid, and basically this is how you start and grow. So what you want to do is you have these colors and you have a path. So you want to go down, let's zoom in, and you want to choose a color. So all of these are like different colors, right? So this is R is red, G is green, B is blue, and yellow is Y is yellow. And the A is like the level, the like grade of it. So AAA is too expensive. We can't even buy that right now. It's like this very tall looking thing. So we'll start out normally. So we'll build a little grow right here. So these are like basically like towers or cubes that grow over time. And if you want them to grow, you need to put a path in front of them. And once you put a path, you get a little thing that comes out of the grow called a blob, and all the grows produce this. So each grow, each different color has different properties. So let's say, for example, red is kind of like your standard. It just produces normally, it grows normally, and it also increases your BP normally, which we haven't mentioned yet. So BP is this thing over here. It is basically your money, and it's determined by these grows themselves and how much they're outputting, how many blobs they're getting. I don't know if I said this, but blobs are little circle things. And for example, blue outputs a lot of blobs. Red takes in, when red takes in a blue blob, it gets a little benefit. It increases its growth rate. And there's a lot of little complex stuff like that. So basically, the different colored blobs, right? They have different benefits depending on which one they hit. So if a blue one hits, say, a green one, a blue blob, then it's just a little bit benefits the green blob. And there's a lot of complex stuff going on here. We can't explain it all just in this one video. And basically, that's the game. It looks very simple for now, but let's come back after I've built something bigger. Oh, really quick. So, I don't know if I explained this, but when you build stuff, it also takes some BP, right? So, here in our info, if you press it, it'll display the BP amounts. So, as you can see, each different level costs more and more BP to make, and BP is kind of hard to get. Right now we only have 84 BP, and some of these, the yellow costs 2,500,000 BP, which should give you a hint as to just how complex this game can get. Here's another interlude before we show you a bigger final product. So as you can see, I built a little more complex system here. Our BP is going up because we've made a bigger system. One thing I don't think I mentioned before is, right, I don't know if I mentioned destroy, so this can destroy blocks for you. Like, let's say, I don't know, I don't really want to delete anything, but I'll do something for show. So like these two right here are kind of crowded together, so let's get rid of that, right? That costs BP as well, as you might have seen here. It might be hard to see, but it costs 50. And in addition to this, we have two other options. You can save the game, though note, in the build that was sent to 425, this does not work just yet. And we can quit back into the main menu. I would not do that right now because I don't want to lose this game. As another intermediate, let me demonstrate to you buying the bigger ones. So we can afford red AA now. And what this will do is it has its own little benefits, right? So it has a higher increased, all its rates are a little more increased, and when it receives blobs, it also has bigger benefits than the normal reds. In addition, it also grows to a higher maximum height, and that's very important or very aesthetically nice for the end game as well. Obviously, a higher max height means it'll be benefiting for longer, benefiting the system. Here's another little intermission before I show you the final product. So as you can see here, I've sort of planned like a little design pattern. What I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate something that we learned from the first time we played the game. So blues kind of detriment other blues as a balancing tactic. So blues output a lot of blops, but we don't want them to be like spam. We don't want the player to like abuse blues. So you can't have too many blues next to each other. They usually have to be going straight to something. So what we designed here is a feeding thing. So we're going to set up these reds, and we set the paths up in such a way that we can maximize how we're going to feed these reds. So it looks like I'm going to have to delete something here, but we're gonna put some blues on the other side of these, right? So once we put them here, they will only feed into this red, and what that does is it's going to cause the red to grow up a little bigger. As you can see, we kind of did it here, right? This red's already taller than this red, and these are placed at about the same time in the game, right in the beginning, if you remember. So if we go back here, turning the camera, trying to figure out where I was originally. It's disorienting. Anyway, so we're gonna delete a little path because it looks like we don't want this to be here as well. So we're gonna just disconnect it a little, and we're going to do that because that's what we should have done. Then extend it out. Notice how we're being symmetrical. It's more or less just an aesthetic thing, but in a symmetrical system might work just better. It feeds itself. So we're gonna put some reds on the ends here, and we're gonna extend the paths. And we're gonna add the blues to the other sides, sort of like little nodes. Looks like over here we can't do it without touching the other one, so we're just gonna delete this path right here. We don't need it. Okay. And there's a little stuff here, but I want to show you the final product before we finish the video. Okay, so we are back in the game. So we have built quite a little bit of stuff. This is back at the stuff I was just talking about, the little blues feeding these reds. As you can see, they've got them quite a bit taller, and you know it works because this red right here, which doesn't have a third blue feeding into it, is unfortunately shorter than these other ones. So this is our system for right now. The game has been made in such a way that it does take quite some time to play it. About like any other simulation, it should take a few hours to get a good running one. And I've only been playing this for 30 minutes. And to really emphasize what I mean, if I zoom out, we can see the full size of the grid, and you can see we've only taken up a very small portion. So you can imagine what could potentially fill up the rest of this grid. And that's about it for this game, and it's just very interesting to lay out paths and see what sort of stuff will pop up. Like here I've laid out this very fancy path that takes the red blobs that are being fed by the blue blobs here, and they go into this system over here, and this system is producing its own stuff, right? But it's still very interesting to see how everything is. And that's like the whole point of the game. It's like, not only do you want your things to grow up into an aesthetically pleasing way, but it's also very interesting to see how everything interacts with each other, and how fast can you get things growing, how high can you get your BP, like how do things work, not only on the micro scale, like just the blue and red here, but on the macro as well. Like how is this system here benefiting this system down here, right? It's all very interesting. That's it for this game, this explanation of this game. If anyways are interested in downloading it, just look us up.